The cafe door chimed softly as Lila stepped inside, brushing a strand of hair nervously behind her ear. The warm smell of roasted beans and freshly baked pastries filled the air, but instead of comfort, it only made her chest tighten. Around her, she saw groups of friends laughing, couples leaning close over lattes, and students buried in laptops with half-empty mugs. Her eyes flicked to her purse, old, faded, barely holding together at the seams. Inside, a single crumpled $5 bill sat like a reminder of everything she lacked. She could maybe afford a plain coffee, but then what? What if he ordered something fancy? What if he thought she wasn't worth his time? Her blind date she had almost canceled 3 times that morning. Her coworkers had convinced her to go, saying, "You deserve a break, Lila. Maybe he'll be different." But now, standing in this cafe where everyone else seemed to belong, she felt out of place. Then she saw him, Ethan, mid-30s, casual jacket, kind brown eyes that immediately softened when they landed on her. He rose from his seat near the window and waved. Lila, yes, she managed, walking over. But as she sat, her heart raced faster. The barista approached, pad in hand. Ethan smiled politely, "Shall we order?" And that's when it slipped out. Her voice cracked barely above a whisper, "I'm sorry, I can't afford coffee today." The words echoed in her ears. Her cheeks flushed deep red. She wanted to disappear, to vanish into the floor. The cafe, once full of chatter, suddenly felt silent, at least to her. She braced herself for the look she had seen so many times before. Pity, discomfort, or worse, judgment. But Ethan didn't flinch. He didn't shift uncomfortably in his chair or glance toward the door like he wanted an escape. Instead, a soft smile spread across his face. "Well," he said, leaning forward slightly, "then today it's my treat. Coffee is just coffee. What matters is who I'm sharing it with." The barista looked between them, waiting. Ethan nodded casually, "2 cappuccinos, please, and maybe a blueberry muffin." Lila blinked, stunned. She had expected the date to end right there with an awkward excuse. Instead, his tone carried no weight of pity, just kindness. When the barista left, she whispered, "You don't have to do that." Ethan chuckled. "Of course, I don't have to, but I want to. You showed up, even when you didn't have to. That means more than a cup of coffee ever will." His words settled over her like a blanket. She relaxed a little, her shoulders loosening. She noticed now the fine lines near his eyes, the kind carved by years of smiling despite hardship. "You're different," she said quietly. "I could say the same about you." Ethan replied, "Most people would have hidden it, tried to pretend. You were honest. That's rare. And brave." The drinks arrived, warm mugs sliding onto the table, steam curling upward. Lila wrapped her hands around hers, not just for the warmth, but for the comfort. As they sipped, conversation flowed. Hesitant at first, then steady like a river finding its course. Ethan told her about his little daughter, Mia, how he worked odd jobs to support her, and how being a single dad meant learning to appreciate the little things. And for the first time in a long while, Lila felt something unexpected on a blind date, safe. The cafe's hum faded into the background as Lila found herself sharing pieces of her story she rarely spoke aloud. "I lost my parents when I was 17, she said, staring at the swirls in her coffee. "I thought I'd have time to figure life out, but instead I was just thrown into it. Rent, bills, food, everything became a fight." She swallowed hard, forcing a smile. "I work 2 jobs now, waitressing during the day, cleaning offices at night. Most weeks I'm just trying to make sure the lights stay on, and sometimes I skip meals so I can pay rent." Her voice trembled, but she pressed on. "I almost canceled today. I thought, why bother? I'm not enough, not for anyone." When she finally looked up, bracing for discomfort, she didn't find it. Ethan's gaze was steady, his expression thoughtful, not pitying. "You know," he said gently, "strength isn't about what you have. It's about what you give even when you have little." Lila blinked at him. Ethan continued, "I don't have much either. Some days I wonder if I'm doing right by Mia. But when she hugs me at night and says she feels safe, I know that's worth more than money." His words pierced through herself, doubt wrapping around the broken places she carried inside. She felt tears sting her eyes, but this time they weren't only from sadness, they were from relief. "You don't see me as less?" she whispered. Ethan shook his head, smiling softly. "I see someone strong enough to keep going, honest enough to admit the struggle, and brave enough to sit here anyway. That's not less, Lila. That's more than most." For the first time in years, she felt seen. Truly seen. Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of the cafe door swinging open. A little girl no more than 6, with curly brown hair and a pink backpack, rushed inside. "Daddy," she squealed, darting toward their table. Ethan's eyes widened in surprise. "Mia, what are you doing here?" A flustered babysitter appeared behind her, apologizing breathlessly. "I'm so sorry, Ethan." She got upset and insisted on finding you. "I didn't know you were here." Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. "It's okay." He knelt down to hug his daughter. "Mia, I'm on a grown-up meeting, but I'm glad you came." Mia turned her big eyes to Lila. "Who's this?" Ethan hesitated, glancing at Lila. But before he could answer, Mia grinned. "You look like a princess." Lila froze, stunned. She felt her throat tighten as the little girl's innocent gaze bore into hers. "Seeing beauty, not poverty. Worth, not weakness. Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. Ethan watched silently, something shifting in his expression. He saw how Lila's eyes softened at Mia, how she knelt down to meet the child at eye level, how natural it felt. For a moment, the cafe, the world, everything else disappeared, leaving only the three of them in a fragile but powerful connection. The babysitter gently guided Mia back toward the door, promising to wait outside. Ethan sat back down, still smiling faintly, but his gaze more thoughtful now. "I'm sorry about that," he said. "Don't be." Lila replied quickly. Her heart was still swelling from the little girl's words. "She's wonderful." Ethan nodded. "She's my everything, and she reminded me just now. Worth isn't measured in what we own. Kids, they see hearts first." Lila swallowed hard. Before they stood to leave, Ethan looked at her with quiet sincerity. "Don't ever feel ashamed of honesty. Today wasn't about coffee. It was about courage, and you showed it." Her eyes filled again, but this time with a smile. She realized this date wasn't about impressing someone with appearances. It was about connection, about the way kindness could light up even the darkest corners of life. They walked out together, the evening air cool against their skin. Ethan waved goodbye, Mia waving from the babysitter's car. Lila turned toward her small apartment, her steps lighter than they had been in years. She didn't carry a coffee cup, but she carried something far richer, hope. This story reminds us that sometimes the most powerful connections are born not out of wealth or perfection, but out of honesty and vulnerability. Lila thought her lack defined her, but Ethan showed her that true worth is found in courage, kindness, and the willingness to keep going even when life feels heavy. A single moment of compassion at a small cafe became the turning point in two lives. For Ethan, it was a reminder that love and understanding could heal wounds deeper than money ever could. For Lila, it was proof that she wasn't invisible, that her struggles did not make her unworthy of love or happiness. And for little Mia, it was natural to see what adults often forget, that beauty lies in the heart, not in appearances. In the end, it wasn't about coffee, it was about courage, it was about hope. And it was about the truth that no matter how little we think we have, we always have enough to give love, and that can change everything. So the next time you feel like you don't measure up, remember this: the world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your honesty, your kindness, and your heart. That is more than enough.